Are we heading towards World War III? The ending will leave you in shock. April 22nd, 2025. The quiet tourist town of Pahalgam, Kashmir, known for its scenic beauty, was shattered by terror. 26 innocent lives, mostly Hindu tourists, were lost in a brutal attack claimed by a little-known group, Kashmir Resistance. But beneath the surface, a much darker game is playing out. India blames Pakistan-based militants. Pakistan denies it all. But the consequences? Immediate and dangerous. Within 24 hours, gunfire echoed across the line of control. In Lipa Valley, Indian and Pakistani troops exchanged fire. No casualties, not yet. But the message was clear. This wasn't just a skirmish, it was a warning shot. The first chapter in a new chapter of bloodshed and tension that could spiral out of control. In the wake of the attack, the Indian government called for urgent security meetings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowed justice. He was not just angry, he was determined. Visa cancellation, border closure, suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty, India's ace card. The world was watching as the stakes in this conflict reached new heights. The Indus Waters Treaty, signed in 1960, gave Pakistan access to key rivers. The treaty was the foundation of peace, a lifeline for Pakistan's agriculture, supplying 80% of its water. India suspending it could choke Pakistan's entire agricultural system. With Pakistan already struggling with climate change, a suspension of the treaty could be catastrophic, a slow, cruel death sentence. Pakistan's response came swiftly. Airspace closed, diplomats expelled. The Simla Agreement, which has been a key part of the ceasefire and peace talks for decades, was unceremoniously scrapped. The foundation of all peace talks, the very fabric of their diplomatic relations, was now in tatters. The world stood on edge. Was this the beginning of a catastrophic breakdown in relations? The military movements were rapid. The clash at the line of control escalated. Pakistani troops fortified their positions, while Indian forces remained on high alert. But a single misstep, just one, could trigger a deadly escalation. The situation was delicate. The world watched with bated breath, hoping that diplomacy would find its place before the worst could happen. And it's not just South Asia. As violence escalates between Israel and Palestine, with cities under fire and innocent Palestinians live shattered, the world is already teetering on the edge. One more spark in any region could light a global fire. India has a clear advantage in terms of military power, with its nuclear arsenal and superior technology, but Pakistan, too, is not a small player. With both nations having nuclear weapons, any confrontation could spiral into something catastrophic. The use of cyber attacks has already become common between the two countries, and it's clear that both are preparing for the worst-case scenario. Drones could replace soldiers on the battlefield, and the air would be thick with the buzz of machines, rather than the cries of human soldiers. Beyond the battlefield, the war's potential to be fought in the minds of millions through digital warfare, cyber attacks, and misinformation is becoming more evident. A single hack on a critical system, whether it's water, electricity, or even military operations, could ignite flames of war that would be impossible to put out. Amidst all that, civilians remain the pawn. Protests erupted across India, and fear began to grip Kashmir. In Kashmir, Kashmiri Muslims found themselves at the mercy of not just the military, but also growing anti-Muslim sentiments. Children attacked, students harassed, people terrorized. The world community, despite calls for diplomacy, seemed to be paralyzed by the scale of the crisis. The United Nations issued several urgent statements calling for restraint, but in the world of geopolitics, calls for peace are often drowned by the deafening noise of nationalism and political expediency. The question now was not whether there would be a war, but when and how soon. And if war comes, it will be unlike any war the world has seen before. With weapons of mass destruction, advanced technologies, and cyber capabilities, the impact won't just be confined to the battlefield. The effects will be felt globally. The South Asian region, home to over 1 billion people, would be caught in the crossfire. The geopolitical consequences could ripple through markets, economies, and alliances, triggering a global crisis of unprecedented proportions. In the midst of the military standoff, the global community is asking the same question. Can the leaders of India and Pakistan bring this situation back from the brink? Or are they too consumed by their own power struggles and political rhetoric to save the millions who will pay the ultimate price? This is no longer just about Kashmir. It's about power, revenge, survival, and water. As tensions boil, the question remains, will diplomacy hold, or is the subcontinent standing at the edge of its deadliest war yet?